This morning, the Central Bank of Nigeria has debunked a report by a national daily saying that it has not devalued the naira to 631 naira to the dollar at the importers and exporters window. That's the I&E window. The Apex Bank, through the acting Director of Corporate Communications, said that the report is completely false and warned that such report would have serious adverse consequences for the economy. According to the CBN, it has not changed its strategy of allowing a gradual convergence of the parallel and official market exchange rates. That's the press release that you're watching right now from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Moving ahead, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has adjusted the pump price of petrol by nearly 200% to between 488 naira and 557 naira nationwide. The development followed the announcement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his inaugural address on Monday that fuel subsidy was gone. In the schedule detailing the new rates, prices have now been adjusted upward from between 189 naira to 194 naira to what is now around 537 naira per litre in Abuja and other north central states. For Lagos and other southwest states, a litre of fuel now sells for between 488 naira and 500 naira per litre. In the southeast, the price will range from 515 naira to 520 naira, while in the northwest, the price of the product is raised to 540 naira. In the northeast, it moved from 190 naira per litre to 557 naira per litre. Talks between the federal government and organized labor over the removal of fuel subsidy ended in a deadlock on Wednesday as they failed to reach a consensus following the hike in petrol pump prices to over 500 naira from 195 naira per litre by NNPC. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has adjusted the pump prices of petrol by nearly 200% or over 200% really, to between 488 naira to 557 naira nationwide. The developments followed the announcement by President Bola Tinubu during his inaugural address on Monday that fuel subsidy was gone. In a schedule detailing the new rates, prices have now been adjusted upward from around 194 naira to 537 naira per litre in Abuja and other north central states. Moving ahead, the federal government, according to recent data, borrowed 6.07 trillion naira from the Central Bank of Nigeria through ways and means advances in 2022. The federal government's borrowing from the CBN has increased from 17.46 trillion naira in December 2021 to 23.53 trillion naira in December 2022. The federal government had said it would repay the loans with securities such as treasury bills and bond issuances because the government had started experiencing a significant revenue shortfall. Banks' borrowings from the Central Bank of Nigeria Standing Lending Facility, SLF, rose year-on-year by 464% to 4.95 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023, from 877 billion naira in the corresponding period of 2022. Banks borrowing from the Apex Bank, which had declined month-on-month in February this year by 14%, suddenly spiked by 775% to 3.97 trillion naira in March and declined by 45% to 2.15 trillion naira in April. Banks borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria rose year-on-year to 464% to 4.95 trillion naira in April. The president of the Nigeria-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ismail Balogun, has disclosed that trade between Nigeria and Indonesia has exceeded expectations, reaching $4.7 billion, surpassing the initial target of $4 billion. The NICCI revealed that the inaugural edition of the Nigerian-Indonesia Trade Forum in Jakarta, the chamber decided to address the trade imbalances between Nigeria and Indonesia, which stood at $2.8 billion. According to the NICCI, the chamber is committed to partnering with several countries like Qatar, the United Kingdom, Indonesia, the UAE, among among others, to create opportunities for Nigerian businesses and drive economic growth. Nigeria's Federal Inland Revenue Service has revealed that as of the end of 2021, Nigeria's tax-to-GDP ratio grew to 10.8% from 6%, accounting for tax revenues from other government agencies apart from the FIRS. This was disclosed in a statement by the FIRS after the new ratio was messaged to the FIRS. Tax to GDP is a measure of a nation's tax revenue relative to the size of its economy as measured by the gross domestic product. In the statement, the FIRS stated that Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio in the last 12 years hovered between 4 to 6% and rose to 10.86% by the end of 2021. And that's it now for the news at this time. You know that business happens per second, as it were. But these are the stories we're bringing to you right now. In a short while, we will be digging deep into the fallouts we've been seeing, at least in the last 3 days, and where do we go from here? How does President Tinubu balance the socio-economic fallouts, so to speak? Is there also a political? I think there's also a political angle to it. And of course, the president is a political strategist, but what do we hope to see moving forward? But